Have you ever heard the phrase, red sky at night, shepherd's delight, red sky in the morning, shepherd's warning? That statement is actually quite accurate. Now it's quite accurate because if you can see a red sky in the morning, it means that the weather is going to be coming from the east. And that's generally a cold Arctic blast. If you can see a red sky in the evening, the weather will be coming from the west. And that's generally much warmer. But not always. Because this is just guessing basically which direction the wind is coming from. If you really want to know what it's going to be like, you've got to be able to see what the weather is like beyond that horizon. Now, of course, you could just phone everybody up around the planet and say, what's the weather like at your house? Not going to work. If we really want to see this, we've got to get above the ground so we can see the weather across the entire planet. And the only realistic way to do that is to launch satellites into space that can then look back down at the ground and tell us what that weather's like. And this is what we do. We have got satellites that can watch the weather. They can look at the waves across the sea peering beneath cloud and tell us if it's stormy in the middle of the Pacific. We can look in the uninhabited regions of the Antarctic and tell you what the temperature is. We can even use satellites that can see in light that is invisible to us and tell us what the temperature is like 10 kilometers above the ground. And we can put this together and we can tell you what the weather forecast is going to be. Does it matter? Does it really matter if you get wet because you went out thinking it's going to be a nice glorious day and the heavens open and you haven't got an umbrella? Well, that doesn't really matter. But think about this. Let's suppose you need to harvest your crops. And you know there's going to be a storm on Thursday. You can harvest on Wednesday. You can save your crop. Around the world, every year, we save hundreds of billions of dollars just by knowing what the weather forecast will be and when to harvest those crops. Let's imagine you know a hurricane is going to arrive in 2 days. Hurricane Katrina in the US caused $150 billion of damage. How much more damage would it have caused if we had not known 2 days in advance it was going to hit? Hurricane Katrina in the US caused the deaths of 2,000 people. How many more people have died without knowing what the weather forecast will be?